one on YouTube that was like 100 million parts, broken up. Rose, what was your initial thoughts watching the documentary, the YouTube and the Hulu?
So I watched the Hulu one first, and I can't remember why I watched it, but it was something I seen maybe on TikTok, and it made me want to watch it, and so I watched it. And matter of fact, I watched it with my daughter. We watched it. I fell asleep on some of it. It was because it was kind of repetitive, and they kept talking about the same thing. The Hulu doc, same thing, same thing. They didn't really get into too much depth. And then I said, so finish that, and then I kept seeing things on TikTok. It started popping up on my timeline, and they kept talking about these hood whores. You gotta watch the hood whores. You gotta watch the hood whores. So it's like one day I was like, all right, let me click on it, and I started watching the hood whores, and that they went so deep. It was crazy. So it was like some thoughts of watching it, man. It was my first thoughts is like how can people be so gullible and dumb and crazy when I was watching the Hulu, and then but when watching the hood horrors, I'm like, nah, man, these people ain't crazy. These people ain't gullible and dumb. Man, these people straight up basement babies. Man, these people slow. These people slow. So that's my first thoughts.
Oh, bro. Hey, man. So I was able to watch about half of the YouTube, and I cleaned through the Hulu one. My initial thoughts were, I'm gonna ask you this question: does it seem like the YouTube one was better than the Hulu one in the sense of it was more authentic and real?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, because when I watched the Hulu one, it made it seem like they tried to paint everyone as victims, like they was not willing participants in and everything, and everything. Not just the charges that Nature Boy basically got convicted of. I'm talking about just the whole court in general. They try to make it seem like, oh yeah, whatever. Where's the goddamn the YouTube basically made it seem like no, this was something everyone was just in on together. Um, but I ain't gonna lie, man. When I watched the Hulu made it seem like they was crazy, and I had the opposite thought of you. I didn't think it was basement when I watched YouTube. I thought, oh man, this don't really sound that bad to be honest. When I watched the YouTube, it was just certain things like you can have a good message, but then fuck it up by doing dumb shit. Because I'm thinking, oh, just eating fruits and vegetables. But just mostly the way, even when he broke down the one about the B6 diet, about we eat this between this time and we eat this during the day, then we eat this when we go to sleep, and then living in nature and stuff like that, which that ain't nothing new. It's plenty of people that feel like us as human beings are supposed to live amongst nature and stuff like that. In fact, there's a white man who's on YouTube famous because at 18 years old, he's like probably your age, Rose. He's like the biggest wildlife conservatives out there, whatever. He lives living in the Amazon forest, and he comes from an affluent white family, but he gave that life up to live in the Amazon forest or whatever. So there's plenty of people that think that's how it's supposed to live. They like to take showers in the waterfall and stuff like that. They don't want to do all this other stuff. So like, I thought initially, okay, yeah, bro, this is kind of dope. But then it kind of started getting twisted because then that's when it's like they start trying to worship him like a god, and he started saying some shit that was kind of crazy. And I was like, man, nah, bro, nah, that shit was just, nah, I don't know about that. It wasn't really organized very well. And then the last two things were after finishing everything was what happened to Nature Boy? Because no, I did not see them do drugs, and apparently they was not supposed to be drinking alcohol like that. They did drink. I did eventually see them drink alcohol in the YouTube documentary, but apparently that was not supposed to be on their diet every day. So they wasn't. So I got to go off of that. They wasn't apparently supposed to be drinking alcohol every day. I did not see them smoking weed. Was they smoking weed?
Yeah, so according to some other people that I watched a guy named Shaka Zulu.
Okay, yeah.
He went to visit because he was down there doing his own journey. He had a tribe down there, and they kind of met online. And he's seen him in the store. He said the first time they met, they was getting high and drinking. So
Okay, then.
So I think they tried to hide that part, but I believe they were getting high and drinking all along.
And can I tell you why I feel like they had to be doing drugs and drinking all the time?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like his brain started getting fried. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, because when he first started talking in some of his videos early on in the series, he seemed like a dude that for the most part had his head on straight.
Mm-hmm.
But like as I got to the later part, it was like, yo, nigga, what is this nigga talking about? What's going on with this nigga? This nigga seemed crazy.
I think he was always thrown off because of his childhood. So, because he grew up kind of messed up in New York and in the foster care system and things like that. So he was always thrown off, but he was able to hold it in to a certain extent.
That's probably the better thing, because this nigga had a barbershop in motherfucking Atlanta, was making plenty of money. You know, he was doing gay shit too, but I ain't, hey, that's his business or whatever.
But that's how he got the barbershop.
That is how he got the barbershop, man, doing the gay shit. But it was just like, but then, like I said, he had a good message, but then he started saying crazy shit like about when he confronted that one bitch about when she said she got raped, and he said, no, you didn't get raped. And that shit just kind of sounded crazy, that tirade. But then the shit about his kid, talking about, I have sex in front of my son. And can I be honest? I feel like some of the messaging in that was okay. Like, I feel like if you living in nature, and what he was initially saying was, I want my son to be so pure, he does not understand what it means to be naked. So if we're taking it to like biblical terms, all right, cool. That's whatever, bro. That's not for me, but I ain't got no issue with that. What made it weird was when he said, my son pull on my dick or tug on my dick, and it's like, hold up, bro. Why is your son grabbing your dick? Like that's when it was like, yo, bro, is this nigga on drugs and shit? What is this nigga doing?
The nigga he said, yeah, I just smashed his mom while he was sucking on her breast, and now I'm just laying there, and yeah, he grabbed my dick, and I'm just laying there, and I just let him grab it. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Like, even the having sex in front of your son part, I'll be honest with you, there's mixed reviews on that. So I wasn't even outraged the way that people in the documentary was trying to be outraged, because there's some people
to a certain age. To a certain age,
some people think that's okay.
Yeah.
Especially if you poor and you live in a single studio apartment or whatever, that is what it is. But when he said that part about tugging on the dick, I was like, yeah, lost me, nigga. I'm out. I ain't gonna defend this shit. I can't defend this shit. And it's crazy because the dude, Young Pharaoh, that nigga done been popping the last couple of years on YouTube and TikTok and stuff. And I was like, hold up, they knew each other or whatever?
To a certain extent, they was in that same, that consciousness circle.
And then when they posted Brother Polite, I actually used to follow Brother Polite years ago.
Yeah, so they didn't know each other, but and the thing about they was in the same social, that internet space. So
but before I move on, I do want to ask you another question. What was your thoughts on the bitches just getting passed around? And the nigga just fucking his homeboys' bitches or taking his homeboy bitches from them?
Yeah, so that was wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you with me. Nah, Velvet's mad now. Now you got to go back with them. But the crazier thing about it is that most of these hoes had STDs.
Yeah, they did. When I saw that in the documentary, when the one who cried rape was talking about hoes' vaginas is leaking and shit, and they itchy and shit, and they checking their pussies every other day. Yeah, that shit was kind of wild.
It's like, and it's like she got some kind of package when you take her out on as wife, and then you smash, and you was already on some super gay stuff, and then you give them back I think some of the dudes. I think he was sleeping with some of the dudes too.
Can I be honest?
They didn't say it, but I believe he was.
Because of the fact he had a gay pass and he was in prison. And I was like, I was waiting for the part where it was like he was fucking niggas too. I was waiting for that part. I was waiting for the part for niggas to be like, he fucked me. I was waiting for something like that to come out, and it never came out. But I believe he was fucking some of the niggas too.
Because they ran a train on a transvestite, not transvestite, but a transgender.
Yes.
So it was like 4 of them ran a train on, and they put it on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
So is that how they was making money on OnlyFans?
No, they was making money off of. So they started off House Party. It was an app called House Party.
Okay.
And then they went to Bigo.
What does House Party and Bingo do?
It's kind of like Tag, or those apps where you be live all day.
People just send money.
And they send you gifts.
Yeah.
And you get the money off of that. So that's what they were doing. And so he was making some paper at one point. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So probably almost to 20 G's a month.
So it was like he basically had a Patreon.
Yeah. So he had everybody in there. So everybody's in there on live all the time.
Yeah.
And he was like a director at one point. So he was like directing people, and giving people jobs. And they did this from sun up to sundown, pretty much kind of like streaming. How the people are doing streaming now. He was doing this before COVID.
Okay, then. Yeah.
So he was making money too. And then at one point he was broke too. But then he would just beg people online. And people online would just send him money.
That's what I was trying to figure out, because they flew so much and so often and was able to get pieces of land so often. Now, there was times people just gave them land, but then there was times where they bought land.
They never bought anything. They stayed in all those lands were like Airbnbs, or people just offered them to let them stay there.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, they paid to stay certain places sometimes.
Yeah. So
it was like, where's this money coming from, man? I do know, like, to start it off, there was that one homeboy who had $300K.
Yeah.
And told Nature Boy day one, yo, I got $20K, here you go. Which, nigga, that scene was just so crazy when Nature Boy just explains, man, I go to the airport and I'm expecting women because my following is women. And there's 3 dudes that show up, and one dude's like, yeah, I speak Spanish, I fuck with you, I'm on the ride with you. Another dude, he got the master plan. And another nigga say, yeah, man, I've been following you too. Oh, by the way, I got $20K, here you go. And it's like, hold up, bro. And then they by the, like, I want to say about the 5th video, they ran out of money. And I'm like, well, how much money he have? Well, he gave this nigga $300,000.
Yeah.
Hold up. I cannot imagine giving a nigga $300,000, Rozay.
Handicap. Short bus.
So speaking of that, there was some people that called it a cult, but then some people looked at it like, this is what community is supposed to be. In your opinion, what's the difference between being a cult and being a community? And where do you lean to with Nature Boy? What was they trying? Melanation, carbonation?
Yeah, it started off as melanation, and then they went to carbonation. Yeah, so, but yeah, he was running the cult. He was running the cult. Like in the community, we're all sharing the assets. We're all sharing it. Like, I don't have to. You might have to put stuff in the pot, but you don't have to give your all. And then you all share. You get some of the proceeds. Everybody's putting it into the pot, and everybody's getting out. What Nature Boy was doing, he was just getting it all, doing what he wanted to do with it, and telling everybody else what they was gonna do with it. And if you didn't do what I told you to do, you gonna go stand in the corner for 2 hours. You want punishment. And it's like he was like, and he was the boss. And pretty much all the people that he had there, except for maybe one lady that passed away there, he was older than everybody, way older than everybody. Yeah. And so he didn't let them. So what he said went. So he was like, if somebody tried to do something different, he was like, no, I'm older than you. I done did this before. You got to do it this way, because you do it that way. And then people, they would just listen to him. Yeah. And because he was popular online, people wanted to be around him.
Yeah.
but they didn't realize, they didn't know how thrown off he really was. But then when you get out there, because lots of people lots of people that went out there was running away from responsibilities.
You know, and that's something that I caught too, man, because it just seemed like some people just didn't want to be adults, and that's why, like, when I watched it, the Hulu one, it was just a straight cult. I ain't gonna lie, when I watched the YouTube one, I kept going back and forth. Because at times, because, you know, I look at a cult as, okay, we brainwashing people. There's a God complex where someone becomes a God or whatever, or you got to talk to them to be able to get to God. You know, there's an abuse and a manipulation of people, disorganization, and the rules are not consistent. Whereas the community is the opposite. There is no God complex. You know, you don't have brainwashing of people. You know, I ain't gonna say there's not abusing and manipulation in communities, but not to the extent of a cult by one person.
One person.
By one person doing it.
It happens in communities.
Yeah, it happens, but it's not one person who's doing it to everyone.
Yes.
And then there's more organization in the community, and mostly in the community, there's a set rule system and laws in place and guidelines. And can they change? Yes, but typically the community has to agree for the changes, and it takes time. It's not just, yo, you can't wear shoes in my house, and then the next day, oh, you can wear shoes in the house. Like some of the stuff going on in the tribe was like that. Like the part about, yo, y'all can't get pregnant. Then the bitch said, I'm pregnant. You all got to get pregnant now.
All y'all got to have babies.
All you got to have babies.
And I have to plug into you so you can get my DNA, so you can become
God.
me.
Yes, exactly, man. So and then so I'll say this. When it first started, it really just seemed like, that's what I'm saying, like, good idea, but he made it impure, because it really just seemed like they was trying to create their own community at first. Yo, we don't want to live in, they call it Babylon, but we don't want to live the way the white men taught us to live. It really kind of almost seemed how Indians was living back in the day, Native Americans. Like, we want to live off the land, we want to live free. We don't feel like we should have to pay bills to just live on land that the God provided or whatever. And they was just doing that. What made it kind of crazy was, next thing you know, when the nigga basically started fucking everyone, bitch. That was the first time it was like, okay, this is kind of some cult shit, especially Velvet. When Velvet came out to be with old buddy, and he still tried to push up on her and said, you sure you want to be with him? You sure you want to be with him? And then I was like, man, you know, good for Velvet for standing her ground. I was so mad episodes later when Velvet left old buddy after being with old buddy for years. Left old buddy and then got with him. And I'm like, hold up, bro, what the fuck just happened?
After telling, I don't want to be with you, I want to be with him.
Exactly. And then, like I said, the contradiction part, because there was a clip where he said, man, you know, I'm loyal, man. If you fucked my homeboy and you was with my homeboy, you off limits and stuff like that. And it's like, but nigga, you done already fucked like 3 bitches that was with the homies or whatever. And you was taking them from these motherfuckers. Like that part was just really insane at how he made everyone think it was okay for him to fuck all the bitches, even if it was like that part, to me, no grown man should ever look at it as okay. Where one man thinks it's okay for him to fuck all the hoes, even if the hoe is attached to you, and then, but you can't fuck his bitches. And I want to make this clear. There were some bad bitches in this doc. Some of these bitches were bad. Excuse my language. I apologize, Rozay.
All of them were attractive women. All of them. No,
they all was attractive, but there was a couple, like especially the one who filed the rape.
Yeah,
she was bad.
Yes.
Like I saw her on the live talking. I'm like, damn, you let Nature Boy nut in you? Like, because she was bad. I was like, yo, that shit was crazy to me, man. But you know,
Janae.
Yeah, Janae. But like, yeah, man, I feel like just the disorganization and all the other bullshit made it go from being a community to a cult. And then, unfortunately, especially when he started saying he was God.
3 God.
Yeah, and they started worshiping him. They had to bow. They had to treat him like he was a deity and stuff. Like, that's when it's like, yeah, this is a full-blown cult. Y'all niggas done lost y'all marbles. And it's crazy because I know you said earlier they was basement babies, But it was so crazy because some of these people was in college, some of these people had careers, and when I say careers, I'm not talking about no disrespect to if you work at Walmart. That's a respectable job that pay bills. No, some of these people had real fucking careers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were social workers or worked in law enforcement or was ex-military or was secretaries at places. Like they had real fucking careers. Even the old lady, mama, whatever they called her, mama something,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like she was, I think, retired and getting her little check and on her medication. Like, not all these motherfuckers were stupid, but it was like, it just shows you the power, I guess, Nature Boy had to bring them to him. So the last